Greetings. My name is Louise Dente, and I welcome you to yet another edition of Cultural Caravan. On this edition is a special, as we're here celebrating Black theater, and we're here at the legendary New Federal Theater, over 46 years, going into this 47th season of celebrating the African American experience through arts and culture. And also, we're spotlighting a very special performance, which is done in celebration of the 125th anniversary of the great Zora Neale Hurston. And we're going to speak to Woody King, the executive producer, as well as the stellar cast of artists who brought this wonderful story to life. Are you ready? Well, I am. Let's go. In this edition, we're honored to be joined by the founder and director of the New Federal Theater, Mr. Woody King, Jr. Welcome to Cultural Caravan.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure, and you know, we are excited about the work, but in one of the particular works that is a recent work that you've done is the story of Zora Neale Hurston, the legendary Zora Neale Hurston, celebrating her 125th birthday. And I know that at the time of this taping, we're concluding a wonderful, brilliant production. Tell us about the importance of the legacy and the life of Zora Neale Hurston.
Well, those of us who really deal a lot with American history, she was one of the major forces in the Harlem Renaissance. 1925, she arrived in Harlem as a brilliant young short story writer, winning first prize in an Opportunity magazine contest. Opportunity magazine and Crisis was the main organs of the New Negro. And as you know, the New Negro was edited in a sense by Alain Locke of Howard University. So Zora Neale Hurston arrived at maybe 25 years old, 1925, maybe old, I don't know, but she always put her age back 10 years because she looked so young. Her importance is she was one of the few women who was outspoken and could back it up with her writing. Also, she came from an all-black town called Eatonville, Florida. And in Eatonville, Florida, they had a black mayor, mostly black people, and now there is a festival in her honor, and it's 27 years old. It's called the Zora Neale Hurston Festival. So her importance is vital. You know, Alice Walker discovered her gravesite in the early 70s, and put a new headstone on her grave because she had been wholly forgotten. Mary Helen Washington wrote a book called I Laugh at Myself. I think there was another biography by Hemingway about her, this Zora Neale Hurston. So since the early productions of Zora, which I think our theater was the first to do in 1981 with Felicia Richard as Zora Neale Hurston. A lot has been written about her. Biographies. Valerie Boyd's biography is a definitive piece of literature, unique and different than anything that I've ever read. So I don't know why she was forgotten, but I think that, like most American literary figures, especially if they're black, the white literary establishment do not write articles about them, so they're soon forgotten.
Well, you know, that's why it's so important that the African American theater community remember and commemorate her. And we're very happy and excited that New Federal Theater, which has been in existence for over 46 years, is on the vanguard of really keeping our heroes and sheroes memories basically enshrined to the theater experience. And in alignment with that, could you just tell our audience about New Federal Theater and the work that you've been doing?
Well, New Federal Theater is entering its 47th year. We pioneered almost in every form of work, especially biographies, that's possible. We introduced major American artists to the American theater and film world. We introduced Denzel Washington. We introduced Chadwick Boseman. We introduced Morgan Freeman and Sam Jackson. We introduced all these people in major works. We introduced Ntozake Shange for Colored Girls Who Consider Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. We won a Drama Critics Circle Award for the work of Ed Bullins, The Taking of Miss Janie. We introduced the works of Ron Milner, the late Ron Milner, the late Amiri Baraka. So I think we were always on the cutting edge. We were always about presenting works that I guess our people would feel comfortable experiencing. And I think we were unique in the sense that biographies are integral to what we are about. We've done biographies on Adam Clayton Powell. We're doing a revival of that. We've done biographies on W.B. Du Bois. We pioneered on that. We did biographies on the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I don't think anybody has ever done that except New Federal Theater. I think we are so unique in what we're doing over these years that around the world, people who want to work in the arts somehow find a way to get to us. Now, the unfairness of that is nobody else is doing it, and the white American philanthropic people don't care. They really don't care what we do. They're not going to give us any money for that. I mean, they expect me to pay Elizabeth Van Dyke pittance, nothing compared to what they want people like who work at Lincoln Center and other places who get living wages. So artists, the organization is really predicated on and built around artists because they contribute so much. Exactly. Designers, directors, actors. They make a major contribution.
Exactly, and that's why we feel it's so important that our audience really takes it upon themselves to support Black theater. Black theater is an opportunity for us to preserve our history, our culture, our legacy, and we encourage you to really tune in to the work of New Federal Theater. And for those who are interested, can you please give the contact information for New Federal or the website?
Well, they can go to our website. It's www.newfederaltheater.com. That's www.newfederaltheater.com.
All right, and we're going to get a chance to speak to some of the actors as well as to speak to see a scene from this beautiful production of Zora. Thank you so much, Woody King, for joining us.
Yes, and I just want the audience to know that they got to deal with the work of the writer. This writer is unique. He's done so many histories. His name is Lawrence Holder. Lawrence Holder. Remember that name, Google that name, and present his works.
Oh yes, tremendous. Thank you so much. We're so excited about this, and we thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Cultural Caravan.
Thank you.
Spunk! I'm Zora Neale Hurston, second prize winner for drama and fiction and famous for telling folk tales. I'm gonna tell y'all one of my little stories. Well, in the very first days, God made a man and a woman. And he put them in a house together to live. But back in them days, they was even balanced. They used to do the same things. Neither one of them could whoop the other one. But the man got tired of the way things was. So he decided he's gonna go on up to heaven and ask God to give him more strength than that woman of his, so he could whoop her and make her mine. And God give it to him. Soon as he got back into the house, he hollered, "Woman, I'm your boss. God done told me I can handle you anywhere I want to. I'm the man of this house." That woman went on straight up to heaven. He said, Heavenly Father God, would you please give me the same as you give that man of mine? Come on, Lord, hurry up, give it up quick. And God just shook his head. He said, I'm so sorry. I cannot do that. You see, the man come and ask me first. And what I give, I can never take back. So no matter how much strength I give to you, the man will always have more. That woman got so mad, she decided to go straight to the devil. And she told the devil what happened. And the devil said, wipe them frowns off of your pretty face. Go back up to him. Ask God. Get that bunch of keys he got hanging on the mantelpiece. Bring them back to me. I'm gonna tell you what to do with them. So she went on back up to heaven. She asked God, dear Heavenly Father God, may I have that bunch of keys you got hanging on the mantelpiece? And God said, take the keys. So she rushed back to the devil. The devil said, this bunch of keys got more power than all the strength the man ever had. If you know how to handle them right. Now, this first key is to the kitchen door. You know how a man favors his stomach. This second key is to the door of the bedroom. You know, a man don't want to be locked out of that. This third key is the key to the cradle. You see, man don't like to be cut off from his generation's stock. Yeah. Go back up there. Lock up each and every one of these doors. Then, don't say nothing. Don't do nothing until that man comes to you and uses his strength for your benefit and your desire. One more thing. Don't go bragging about the keys. Matter of fact, don't talk too much talk. So, she went on back home. She did exactly like the devil told her to do. She locked up each and every one of the doors, and then she went to sit on the porch. Just fanning herself, trying to act like ain't nothing happened. Well, the man, he come home. He seen the doors passing up top. That man got so mad, he swelled up like pine lumber after a rain. It was a typical man. So he thought he could use his strength. Use his strength to overcome every obstacle. It didn't work. So he went on out to the porch. Who locked these here doors? Mama said, I did. Who gave you the key? God. Give me the key.
We're now joined by Elizabeth Van Dyke. She just completed a commanding performance of the great Zora Neale Hurston. Welcome to Cultural Caravan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure, really. Thank you.
Now, you know, when we saw just watching you bring her and talk about her and her struggles, tell us, first of all, about your impressions of the character that we knew, or the person, the woman who Zora was and is.
My impression of the person and the woman Zora is, well, I think she's a phenomenal woman, and this year would have been her 125th birthday. Every single one of her books and writings is in publication and selling greatly. And her novel, Their Eyes Were Watching God, is taught in schools all over the country, all over the world. And to have that kind of legacy born out of in 1891 is kind of phenomenal in and of itself. So it tells you a little bit about her achievements in the literary perspective and the anthropological perspective. And to do all that, being a black woman, starting in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s is rather amazing. So she was a force to be reckoned with. She was a great intellect, a great lover of her people, her own indigenous, down-home colored folks, as she would call them. So she was controversial, she was dramatic, she was over the top, she was sensual, beautiful, independent, fierce. So these are some of the elements of her, I think.
And you certainly brought her to life through there, and I think she was really definitely before her time in terms of really challenging people's perception of people, of women, of people, of black people, and just about human beings. So I think that, again, that whole process of bringing her to life and bringing her front and center with this time, and also the fact that this is the 125th year of her anniversary, and the fact that, it gives us an opportunity and other generations to really come and study her. What do you want people to take away, or hope that the audiences take away from Zora as you portray her today?
I always want my work to be transcendent, to float on divine inspiration, on the highest, to inform, uplift, and in some kind of metaphysical way to heal. That may sound lofty, but I want to bring illumination, light. I notice one of the things that I'm quite humbled by and grateful for is that when people come into the theater, at the end of the show, they're buoyant. You could see, you could feel, they're uplifted. They've been on a journey, and they're light, and it's just, that is great. I cannot take the credit, because I pray to be an empty vessel and let God breathe through me. But if I can achieve those kind of things, then I think the work serves to a degree. I'm not trying to sound lofty at all.
Well, I just want to say on behalf of Cultural Caravan, we salute your work, particularly as an actor, someone who has really told our story, the human story, as relates to African American female and humanity. And we thank you for your wonderful portrayal of the great Zora Neale Hurston. Thank you, Elizabeth. We're now joined by Joseph Louis Edwards. He played several dynamic important luminaries in the Harlem, through the Harlem Renaissance and beyond. Welcome to Cultural Caravan.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we saw you on stage become the great Langston Hughes, Richard Wright, Elaine Locke, and also some of the amours or the special men in the life of the great Zora Neale Hurston. Tell us what it took to really change robes like that.
Well, really, it's a matter of kind of figure out what their characteristics are, their main characteristics, their tonal qualities, their inflections, and kind of, how they center themselves. And then you gotta work on it, and eventually it clicks. But the tough thing is, going off stage, change, and then you gotta click back into the character. So, once you practice, that's why the rehearsal process is so important, is that eventually you click into the rhythm and it just falls into place, But, yeah.
Well, I know that this work, this celebration of the life and legacy of the great Zora Neale Hurston and those who she touched upon and those other artists, and also the work of the great Lawrence Holder, who actually pulled this together as a playwright and actually taught. talk about in terms of, I know you're a veteran actor, you've been doing this. How is it night after night, particularly trying to prepare and dealing with the different audience dynamic as well?
Oh, that's an interesting question because some audiences are very vocal and they resonate. They let you know that, oh, we got that, and they respond. And some audiences are absolutely quiet. And one of the things that Elizabeth and I talked about today was that no matter what the audience, what they give us, we have to be really tuned into each other so that we're on our own journey, and they're on it with us. But today some really interesting things happened because we recommitted to that, just focusing on ourselves and the energy that we share with each other. I think what's beautiful about the audiences that we're getting is that they see the connection between what's happening today and what Zora was talking about 100 years ago, what Langston was talking about 50, 60 years ago. They're the same discussions about equality and democracy and what Black people need to do for ourselves. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation in the context of what's going on right now. But I think that's the beauty of it for me, is the play is so relevant to everyone who comes to see it.
Absolutely. And, again, we want to salute the work. You both were dynamite, the magic on that stage in terms of between you and Elizabeth, bringing those giants to life. And I saw an intergenerational group of people, youth who actually have never even knew, who only know these people through history books, had a chance to get a sense of these people and who they were. So, again, I just want to commend you for a brilliant performance, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast, and we continue to encourage you to tune in, to write, and to tell a friend. And please visit our website at www.ccptv.org. But until next time, Louise Dente saying thank you. Let's welcome Joe Patan.
They jumping in the city, West Indian happy, happy whole time for Labor Day. I tell you, no problem, for we take over Harlem Sunday, eve of Labor Day. Virgin Islands crew in town, St. production will be heavy. People from the
I realized that to learn about the people, you study the dance. And when you study the dance, you learn the history of the people. Because dance in traditional African cultures used to preserve, and so that the young coming forth learn by age group. And as I said, you know, I'm skipping years. In traditional African cultures, you learn by age group. So you would have the toddlers who will be going around, they aren't paying any attention, but they are, because these rhythms are becoming a part. And then as they go into the initiation rites, everything is explained. Then after the initiation, then they are ready for courtship and marriage, and then maybe baby naming ceremonies, and on and up until time they make the transition to the grand ancestral ground.